What's up guys, hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be predicting the rest of the Premier League season. So the season has been crazy so far. There have been big wins, lots of goals. It's been a crazy season so far, right? And Tottenham are looking more and more like title contenders. Watch the video I uploaded a few weeks ago. Yeah, I didn't have too many videos so far, so it should be easy to find. So we're going to be looking at the East side's chances of finishing in higher positions, and what their problems are. Now let's get started. Well, now we're going to start from the bottom up. Now I do not have one candidate for a bottom spot because there are two teams that are genuinely terrible. And those two teams are West Brom Albion and Fulham. Um their defense is pretty useless at the moment right now, as it seems. And they can't score goals either, so they're a disaster. They're a running disaster. They're right now deservedly at the bottom of the table, and yeah. Um, and then we have in 18th place Sheffield United. Now many of you are gonna be thinking, hey, why? Sheffield were good last season. There's this thing called the second season syndrome. We believe that it has come to Sheffield finally. I mean, last season they were unusually good, and this season they could be unusually bad. So they also don't have a good striker. That was actually also their problem last season. But this season they're just not very good. Yeah. And then in 17th place we have Brighton Hove Albion. They're a solid team, you know. They have beautiful kids. Yes, I love their kids. They just look magnificent. But they are regulars in the relegation battle. And I don't see them winning all too many matches with the quality they have in their squad. And but the thing is, they're better than the other teams. You know, they have begun to find their style of play, and that is really a good thing because each team needs their identity. They need to find some way they can play better, and I believe Brighton have found just that. Now in 16th we have Newcastle United. Now Newcastle, they are unbelievably boring to watch. I personally hate watching them because they just don't look good on the ball, off the ball, and there are no goals when they play. They don't concede all too much, but they score even less. And I believe that is their main weakness, that they don't score goals. They don't have too many good strikers either. Callum Wilson's solid, but if the rest of the team isn't that good, then what are they gonna do really? And then in 15th place, we start getting the better players and teams in. We have Crystal Palace in 15th. Now, Crystal Palace, as you know, they have Wilfried Zaha, and he is one of the better players in the Premier League. He deserves better teams than Crystal Palace. It's unbelievable how he stayed there, really. But we know Hodgson isn't a good manager. Other players aren't as good as Zaha, and there are some solid players, like for example Mamadou Sakho, Guaita, Ayu, but the rest they're pretty mediocre. Burnley are similar, but instead of having one superstar player like Zaha, they are solid as a team. They work as a team, they defend as a team, and they score goals occasionally. Yes, really, that is pretty much the big strength. They really defend well. They don't concede too many goals, but they are pretty bad going forward. That could come to harm them later. In 13th, we have Leeds. Now Leeds has returned to the Premier League for the first time in 16 years now. They've had a torrid 16 years, but it looks like they're doing really, really well in the Premier League. So far, Leeds United is, I think, fourth place or something. That is unbelievable. And it's really good to watch them play because they play enjoyable, nice football, attacking football, and that's what most fans want from their teams. I just find them really good, but I do not see their squad doing all too well in the difficult Premier League. In 12th, we have Southampton. Now Southampton is a solid team. They press very well. They attack pretty well, but they have their weaknesses, and their weakness is that we play their defense isn't as solid as others, and they play with a high line. So the problem with playing with a high line is any faster players they can easily stop him. So you saw this 5-2 thrashing by Tottenham Hotspur. There it was all Son. It was all Son. Son did all the work because King dropped a bit deeper and he made space for Son and gave long balls in behind, and Son scored every single chance. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah, that could be Southampton's biggest weakness. In 11th place, we have Aston Villa. Now, many of you were thinking, why Aston Villa? They were so terrible last season. Yes, they can be bad, but the defense is very good this season. They know what they're doing. And Grealish is such a joy to watch. He's skilled on the ball. He finds good spaces. He scores goals. He's actually really the complete package. I believe Grealish should have gone to Man United even because Man United, they are a good team and they really need a player like Grealish, someone who can create something out of nowhere. And then in 10th place, we have West Ham United. I know West Ham were terrible last season, but sometimes they're really good, and they've shown how good they can be in this season by beating Wolves and Leicester big. So those were 4-0 and 3-0 victories respectively. That is impressive, especially impressive for a team of West Ham's caliber. Because many teams, they don't manage 3-0 wins. They're happy with a 2-1 win, for example. But they won big, and that shows the potential to get better. But the thing is, they are a bit inconsistent, and they don't have a great squad. They're largely inconsistent. I mean, I love Declan Rice. He's an awesome player. But I haven't been impressed by the rest really. And in 9th place, we have Wolverhampton Wanderers. So the Wolves, they have been regulars in the Champions League qualification race. Because they just play good football. They play with a typical 3-4-3 formation with Adama bombing forward. Now they sold Diogo Jota. And they didn't buy a replacement. I'm not too sure what I can say about that, but they have Daniel Podence, and he is a class player. He is a class player, perhaps not as good as Jota, but he is still a very class player. They also have solid backups, but their squad depth isn't really too good, and Nuno Espirito Santo doesn't really tend to rotate. He uses the same squad all the time, and the problem with that is that the players get exhausted very quickly. In 8th place, we have Arsenal. Last season, they also finished 8th, I think, or was it 9th? I'm not too sure. But they finished around the same place. As you know, they have a good attack. They have Willian, they have Nicolas Pepe, they have Lacazette, and Nketiah, Aubameyang. Mm, They're class. They have a class attack. But the problem is really their defending isn't too good. You have David Luiz. You have Pablo Mari. You have Gabriel. Gabriel's really the only solid option. Now, I really like the system. They play well, but they also don't have a player who can see the chances and create them. So yeah, they just lack the creativity in midfield. And another thing is that the attack isn't too good. Defending is terrible. And you know what happens with bad defending teams? They concede goals. Now, in 7th place, we have Leicester City. Last season, Leicester, they were second for most of the season, but they totally collapsed at the end after COVID and they fell to 5th. I have absolutely no clue how that happened, how bad they could have been. I mean, they had a few injury problems, but a good team should have enough depth to replace them, and they don't have that kind of depth. So, but the thing is, Jamie Vardy, he can't stop scoring. He scored a hat-trick against Man City recently and a few other winners. So, as long as they have Vardy, I believe they can start winning, and they should aim for 7th place finish. In 6th place, we have Manchester United. Because the thing is, their attack is very solid. They have some great players like Martial, Rashford, and the creativity of Fernandes, Pogba. They have got a marvelous squad. Their only problem is the defending. Their defending is like worse than a relegation team. Harry Maguire tackles his own teammates. You don't do that. Luke Shaw's constantly dragged out of position. It's not looking too good for the defense. It's not looking too good for Solskjaer, but I reckon he'll be sacked sooner or later because Man United need a better coach. And yeah, but I believe they can keep scoring against weaker teams and win all those matches. In 5th place, we have Carlo Ancelotti's Everton. Now, currently, Everton are top of the table. I respect them. That has been thoroughly deserved so far. They have played good football. James is awesome. James creates chances. Dominic Calvert-Lewin can't stop scoring either. They've all been very, very lively. The only problem is I'm not sure if they can keep up the consistency. So many players have been there at the team already, and last season they were just so inconsistent. Sometimes they were just very, very good. Sometimes they were terrible. I think they're just. We need to see. We never know what's going to happen with those teams. Yeah. In 4th place, so the first Champions League place, we have. Who else? Other than Chelsea. So, you know, guys, Chelsea has spent more than 200 million this year. They have spent more than Man City. That is quite awesome. They have a crazy attack now with the likes of Pulisic, Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, Giroud as a backup. It's crazy. They have one heck of an attack. but the thing is, they haven't been rolling so far, and unless they actually get their form back quickly, it's gonna be difficult. And the defense is a catastrophe. It is a pure catastrophe. I mean, it's not as bad as Man United's, but it's still terrible. They just let in too many goals. They solved Kepa problem. Kepa was so bad a keeper that he was the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. He was simply the worst. And if you're that bad, then you can't be helped. You just have to be backup, or you have to be sent out. And that's what happened. Chelsea bought Edouard Mendy, a goalkeeper from Rennes, and he's performed very, very well so far. He saved them a clean sheet against Man United because he made 2 fantastic saves. No, it was actually 3, but hey, and I'm not too sure if Lampard knows how to organise a defence. So I personally believe the problem can only be solved through Lampard getting sacked. In third place, we have Liverpool. I know you're thinking, Liverpool. Of course, Liverpool can win the title again. No way, no chance. They don't have Van Dijk anymore. They don't have Fabinho anymore. They don't have Matip at the moment either. So they only have Joe Gomez as the only centre back, and he's looked shaky at times. They're probably right now regretting sending out Lovren because Lovren is better than a auxiliary centre back. Yeah, so now you pretty much understand how bad the situation is, especially with the over-reliance on Van Dijk and the high line. It doesn't look good for them. But I'm pretty sure Klopp can sort the problems out and form a solid defense and bang in enough goals that they still manage to win. In second place, we have Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Now, Man City have been title contenders in the past 5 seasons, thanks to Mansell and their spending. It's safe to say they have bought themselves the title by spending $1 billion in 5 years. That is crazy, that is out of this world. But I suppose that's what happens when you spend so much money. You win titles, and that's what they have done. They also have Guardiola, who can be considered one of the best managers in football history. But the problem is, they haven't been doing too well this season. They also drew too much. They drew way too much. So I personally can't see them winning the title. In first place, as you might have noticed, we have Tottenham. They've got Mourinho, they got a good attack, and they got squad depth. I'll only be saying those because I made a separate video on that. I'm not going to be repeating everything here. And we're done for today. So I wish you a nice week. Stay healthy, don't get COVID, wear masks, like and subscribe. Bye bye.